become thinner. If the lens is thinner, focal length is long. When the ciliary muscles contracted, the lens become thicker. When the lens is thicker, focal length is small. For longer distant object, this is the condition required. Its focal length should be longer. Ciliary muscles get relaxed. For the nearer object, the focal length should be small and the ciliary muscles get contracted. These are the conditions. They are changing for this nature, for this condition on its own, according to the distance of object. Then the next question is, up to what longer distance the eye is able to see anything, any object. The eye is able to see any object up to a longer distance or nearer distance. That longest distance up to which the eye is able to see the object is known as far point. It is known as far point. So far point related to the longest distance. The far point for the normal eye is infinity. It is infinity. For the normal eye, we are talking about the normal eye. It is not defected eye. And the nearest object. Suppose we read the book. The book will be placed nearer to us. In that condition, up to what closeness we can decrease the distance. That is the nearest, the shortest distance of object up to which eye is able to see the object. That is known as near point. It is near point. The near point of normal eye is 25 centimeter. And this near point is also known as least distance of distinct vision. Least distance of distinct vision. Distinct vision. So the least distance of distinct vision 25 centimeter, that is near point 25 centimeter, far point infinity. So the normal human eye is able to change the focal length for infinite distant object and for also 25 centimeter. This ability of eye lens to change the focal length for longest distant object and nearest distant object is known as power of accommodation. This is known as power of accommodation. So power of accommodation is the ability of eye lens to change the focal length for longest and nearest object. That is power. For every normal human eye, the range of power of accommodation, the range of power. For far point, the focal length is infinity. For near point, it is 25 centimeter. If we find the range means longest, difference between longest and nearest. Now, if we find the range of power of lens or range of power of accommodation. For the longest distance, that's the power. For longest, for infinite, the power. We know the relation. Power is equal to 1 upon focal length. This is 1 upon focal length infinity. So infinity, that is 0. for longest distance. When we see any object at a longer distance, no power of lens is required because it become very thin, and in that no power is required. For smaller distance, nearest point, the power 1 upon focal length, this is 25 centimeter, we can change into meter, that 100, and we get it is 4 diopter. So the range of power of accommodation of the normal human eye is difference between 4 diopter and 0. So the range is 4 diopter for the normal human eye. Range of power of accommodation. This is one term related to that. And coming to the next term. So these two terms must be carefully used. Far point, near point. And the two words near point and least distance. Least distance 25 centimeter, near point 25 centimeter. Both are same. This is for normal human eye. Why I am again repeating? Because in the next we will discuss about the defected eye. In that case, the two things will change. Before that, we'll see some other terms. So, far point, near point, power of accommodation. So, these are the terms. And then we described about these parts of the human eye. And these parts are left. On the retina, we have two sensory cells, rods and cones. Rods are responsible for something. Cone cells are responsible for some other. Rod cells are responsible for dim light. Rod cells responsible for dim light means if we want to see the objects in the dim light, we need the rods. If a person is having very large number of rods in their eye, they are able to see the objects in the dark, in the dim light. If the rods are less, if they have no rods, they cannot see in the dark. But normal people are able to see the objects approximate size of object, approximate structure. This is because some rods present in our eye. And the cone cells are responsible for bright light and also color of objects. So there are three types of cone cells: red, blue, green. These three colored cone cells present in our eye. By using these three color cone cells, we are able to see different color of object because these three are the basic or primary colors. With the help of these three colors, that we are able to see any infinite number of colors. If a person is having less number of cone cells, then they will not be able to distinguish the different colors, various colors. Suppose a person is having no red color cone cells, then that person will not be able to distinguish the objects which are red in color. Suppose we have number of objects in different colors, they will not be able to find out the red color objects because they don't have red color cone cells. Animals do not have cone cells. That's why they are not able to distinguish the colors. Whatever the animals are seeing, they are seeing either white or black. But they have very large number of rod cells. That's why they are able to see The objects in the night time also. Most of the animals are hunting during night time. So these are the rod cells, cone cells. Now these are the things about the human eye, parts of human eye and the structure. Now we will discuss if some defects takes place in the human eye. Many defects can take place, and that defects may be biological related or physical related. Here we are confined to discuss only the defects physical related, and that too also the defects taken place in the lens. In the lens, that defects are known as refractive defects, because in the eye lens the defects are taking place. That defects we are going to discuss. They are known as refractive defects. When the defect taken place in the eye lens, the vision will be affected.